Today, I am talking to my buddy Lance Haun, who is the VP of Market Insights at TSC, formerly known as the Star Conspiracy, which is a marketing agency that services the tech and more specifically the work tech industries. Lance, thanks for joining.
Thanks, Joel. Good to see you again, man.
You're about 15 minutes away. I considered doing this at a brewery, but then thought better of it because, hey,
Yeah.
we live in a Zoom world. It's easier to record. All right, Lance, I've been noticing a few trends across the companies that we're talking to for partnership purposes on the compliance side. We talk to a lot of payroll, HCM type companies, workforce management. And a trend that I'm seeing across product teams is a increased focus on how they can implement and insert AI into their current platforms. And what I wanted to talk to you about is how that type of directive will impact the products that ultimately consumers will get, HR teams will get once this technology is embedded. Are we heading to a place of inserting AI for AI's sake? Because you can't have any type of discussion about technology or anything in the HR tech industry without mentioning AI. So I want to get your take and what you're hearing on your side.
Good question. There's a lot of things going on. Joel, as you know, one thing we like to go do is go back in time. We saw this with the rise of cloud computing in general. Clouds have to go back 15 years to really see that it happen in the enterprise, right? But it's happened before, let's get everything on the cloud. Let's get everything on the cloud with very little attention paid to, okay, now that's on the cloud, is that solving any of our customers' problems? Or is it just because we need to be a cloud-based company because that's where investment and interest is coming from? So I do see a lot of companies just doing AI for AI's sake and sort of chasing whatever shiny object. The great thing today with technology is you could easily plug into these APIs like OpenAI has and basically enable AI right out of the box pretty easily, right? And so that's a lot of what you see. Some of it is AI washing too, although I think people are getting a little bit more discerning about AI washing than they were maybe 5 years ago when people are calling things AI, but it's really just sort of like decision trees and basic automations that are getting sold as AI. But it's definitely a challenge there. If you're leading product for organization, you've got the mandate or you are leading the mandate to bring AI solutions because that's where you believe the market is going, then it's human to start showing progress right away, right? So whether it's purposeful or whether it's something that you're just attuned to doing today, having to overpromise and underdeliver today or promise a future roadmap is just sort of natural. I mean, these people have jobs, they want to keep their jobs. And so product leaders are having to sort of build things while they're going, promise things that they don't know exactly how or when they're going to deliver, but they know they have to have this on their roadmap if they're going to get sales. And so one of the challenges I think for buyers and for tech leaders out there is just understanding a little bit about how much of this is going to actually happen versus how much of this is vapor and really placeholder.
Yeah, where I see some of the challenge right now is companies needing to balance guiding and leading their buyers and ultimately the companies utilizing their products, leading them into the possibilities of where AI can create efficiencies, drive additional productivity, take on some tasks that have traditionally been human-led or employee-led. So there's that part of it that is the unknown for the buyer, but balance that with, are these things that their buyers are actually wanting or needing or asking for? It's this interesting kind of dichotomy that we're at with, how much should companies lead and paint this future vision, and how much of that is actually practical for adoption purposes on their buyer side and things that companies can actually tangibly use and get value from, and things that are not going to be too threatening to even their buying departments like HR departments. I see some potential holdbacks on AI across the HR tech stack as well, and the existential threat it poses a lot of HR departments and teams that ultimately will be tasked with helping to source and purchase and utilize these tools.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100% true. And I've seen this in recruiting a lot too. Eightfold, I think, recently announced their agentic, AI solution for recruiting. And you just go through the list and it's like, oh, this is all the things that recruiters are doing right now. It feels a lot like Henry Ford selling trucks to horse carriage makers. How's that going to work out? Like, there's definitely an issue there too. And I think even with some of the things that would be more complementary, so like you get to keep your job, but this is going to make you better at your job. There's also an element of trust with this. And so like I think one of the things we see, not just in work tech, but also like when you look at like financial software, risk management software, those sorts of things, trust has to be there. So do I trust what this is giving me? Do I trust this to assess candidates the way that I think would be more helpful? And do I trust that it can sort of see through some of the issues that you see on the candidate side, as far as like, AI generated resumes, or helpers that help you through interviews or skills assessments and that sort of thing? How much does that factor into things? And are you just going to have like two people, corporations and candidates that have built bots that are just going to go out against one another? At this point, I'm wondering if that's our future. And that's a joke. I don't think that's where we're going, but I do think it's something that when you look at the practicality, when you look at the value that this brings to an organization or to leaders of the organization and the talent function, you have to ask those sorts of questions as far as like where we're going and what value is this going to be driving for my org.